Hey guys, welcome to the Final Whistle podcast. We are creeping towards the end of the season. It's kind of sad, but two more wins for Liverpool and they become champions. And yeah, plenty to talk about and all the talking points of game week 32. I am delighted to be joined by my awesome co-host, Ben. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be talking about Liverpool winning again. It feels like it's been a little while because obviously we didn't do the Everton one midweek. So yeah, like you said, it's a bit sad that the season's coming to an end. Obviously, how good it's been. So, but yeah, hopefully just a couple of wins away and we can really celebrate.
Well, let's kind of talk about the future champions. So it finished 2-1 at Anfield. Loads of buzz around it with obviously Mo Salah signing his contract and stuff. I want to get your thoughts on this one, right? Because recently, and it might be really controversial, but watching Liverpool has been a bit of a thankless task.
Yeah.
And if they weren't in such a healthy position on top of the league, I think I would be feeling like maybe like my mother, who's a Man United supporter, especially with the recent results, performances. I still think some of the results have been creeping over, and this one as well. I think the thing that got me was I want to get your thoughts on it all in general, but I think my takeaway from that was Liverpool started off really well.
Mm.
And then the second half, they kind of fell off a cliff and they had lots of warning signs. And then it takes them to concede or, Robertson on goal, if you will, to kind of get some fire in the belly. It made it interesting towards the end, and it gave me vibes of the Jurgen Klopp title-winning season. The fact that we don't give up, we know. But that team, I expected a goal to come. This one threw me for six because Salah was off as well at this point. But I want to get your thoughts because there were some changes as well in the back. Of course, Jones came in for Szoboszlai as well. But just give me your whole, I feel like there's a lot to get off your chest with this one.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. I do think the changes worked. I think I thought Jones played really well, especially first half. I think everyone kind of went off the ball second half, but even Tsimikas, I mean, Robertson wasn't great when he came on. I think Tsimikas did an all right job. I thought Salah was unplayable first half. I think it's unfortunate to just come away with the one assist, but then second half was more like the Salah that we've seen over recent weeks. Yeah. It's so weird because so many times when we're kicking towards the Kop in the second half, you kind of hang your hat on that. So if you go in 1-0 and then kicking towards the Kop second half, I was thinking, oh, we'll come out 2 or 3-0 maybe.
It's certain, isn't it? It's dead certain, yeah.
Yeah, but it has been a bit of a tough watch lately, and the second half was more like what we've seen lately. Which, yeah, like you say, if we weren't in the position that we're in, would be a bit more of a worry. But, yeah, I can't have too many complaints in a late winner, which we haven't seen an awful lot really this season. So.
And the captain as well, and it was a powerful header, wasn't it? Because every time he goes up for a corner, him and Konate, that's how I expect them to connect because of their height. And yeah, he delivered. And another thing impressed me was the fact that I was actually dreading it. It was in the manner in which we conceded at the time. I think it was 88 minutes, and I was like, "Oh gosh, like this is a point."
We'd already took Salah off at that point as well. But it's like with Van Dijk and Konate, it baffles me how little we score from corners. Like we all think of both of them as being like, they are absolute colossals at the back, and they win every single header at the back on defending corners. But when it comes to attacking corners, it just doesn't seem to work. But thankfully, it did today. And yeah, Van Dijk's celebration. I don't think the club really need to confirm his contract announcement the way he celebrated, kissing the badge. But yeah, it was brilliant to see.
I think Salah kind of landed him in it a bit as well, didn't he? In the post-match Sky Sports interview, and he was like, "I'm this guy now," and he was like, "Please, and then he's like, "He can do whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants," kind of brushing it off. I think you're right. I think the way he kissed the badge and everything. Can we give a shout out to Alisson?
Yeah, what a performance! First game back as well. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel like. He hasn't played since the international break, and I mean Kelleher. Some people were criticising him after last week, but I mean, you see the levels between them when Alisson comes by, and I thought it was superb today. I mean, the one that he tips onto the crossbar from Kudus in the first half was amazing, and then there's a couple of one-on-ones that he's always been amazing at. I think that's kind of the pinnacle of his game, and he proved it again today. Nothing he can do about the own goal, which is just a bit comedic. But yeah, brilliant from Alisson.
Absolutely brilliant. And I mean, any more final takeaways from this one? I guess another thing, I thought Diaz was very impressive in this game as well,
Yeah,
certainly in the first half. Even in second as well, actually. I think he had a shot that hit the crossbar. Like, he was one that was kind of surging everyone on. I think McAllister hit the crossbar as well. And of course, we scored from a set piece as well, which is like,
yeah,
whoa, hello.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Diaz was brilliant, and he's back out on the left until obviously the last 20 minutes or so when Gakpo comes on, and he looks so much more comfortable out there. It's crazy what happens when you play a player in his actual position. I mean, we said that about Gakpo when I think we were all pulling our hair out of watching him as the 9, and then this season he's been unbelievable out wide as well. So yeah, I do think. I mean, Jota, I thought was improved in the first half. I thought Jota actually. I think everyone played well first half. We should have been way more than 1-0 up, and you can even kind of say we should have had a penalty for the Ward-Prowse handball as well. I don't know.
What did you make of that? Because of like on Europe, that's given.
I hate that phrase so much.
Yeah.
It's the same as I'm sure Carragher said it in the cup final when Trippier kind of touched it with his hand. He said that would be a handball in Europe. I don't really get unless I'm missing something, I don't get the difference between the handball rule in Europe and in the Premier League. But yeah, I mean, Ward-Prowse is practically playing basketball from that corner, isn't he? So I don't know how they haven't spotted that.
Yeah, because you can't really have your hand out there anyway. But like he said that, and I kind of let it slide because I was like, I can see Liverpool scoring a few goals. As soon as we conceded, I was like, we should have had a penalty.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't bothered at all. I was like laughing about it to me brother when we were watching it, and then when we conceded, all of a sudden, like, yeah, I can't believe we didn't get a penalty for that.
Yeah, I had a proper Karen moment. I'm not gonna lie, like, where's my penalty? It's so bad what happens. 2 more wins does it for Liverpool. I want to get your thoughts on just Slot. I want to get your thoughts just on just Liverpool fans actually being there.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around it. I was speaking last night about it, and I was saying I just hope we don't win it from like Arsenal dropping points, because I think they've got Crystal Palace midweek before we play Tottenham. And I think if we beat Leicester and they drop points to Palace, we would win it from them dropping points. And I mean, we've done that in 2020 when Chelsea beat City, and it just wasn't the same. I ideally win it against Spurs at Anfield. That is the dream, isn't it? And like I say, have fans there. It's just something we've been dreaming. I feel like some people are kind of taking it for granted. We've all been dreaming of this moment for so many years, and now it's kind of here. And I think some people feel a bit underwhelmed by it, but I'm not on board with that. I can't wait, and I think we'll get the wins that we need in the next 2. I mean, touch wood, we cannot lose to that Leicester side, or drop points to that Leicester side. And then I think if it comes to a scenario where we need to beat Tottenham at Anfield to win the league at Anfield, I'm pretty sure we'll get over the line.
We'll talk about them in a hot minute. Yeah, and I think as well with Slot, I think when he kind of came into this job and like I didn't know who he was. I'm going to be brutally honest, and the thought of him winning it in his first season. I want to get your. This is a little side note. Do you feel like? I don't mean to sound like a negative Nancy, but do you think we might have second season syndrome? Like I feel like this season was the season where I was like free hit. But I feel like maybe next season for me, because I like to really manage my expectations, that I might have to be a bit more patient and it's a bit more of a free hit. I think it all depends on the transfer window.
Yeah, he can easily become kind of like a victim of his own success. But I think if we're very patient with our managers, I think we'll be understanding. And to be, as it stands, I think we're well in line for another pursuit of the title next season. I mean, he broke a record today. I don't know if you saw it. It was in his first 50 games. The record at Liverpool for most wins in the first 50 games was held by Joe Fagan and Kenny Dalglish on 29. Yeah. And he's done 36 in his first 50 games, which is just remarkable. You can't praise him enough for the job he's done. I mean, people were tipping us to be fighting for Europe's like top 4 spots at the start of the season, and to come in after Klopp. I mean, anyone who says he expected it, I didn't expect it. Absolutely not. Yeah, it just speaks volumes to how well he's done, and you're kind of starting to see him come out of his shell a bit more the closer we get to it. I think the final whistle, he was a bit more animated than what we've seen. So yeah, I'll be over the moon for him just as much as anyone when we get it over the line.
Yeah, 2 more to go, people. 2 more to go. Right, that's enough about Liverpool chit chat. Let's move on to Arsenal. Played on Saturday, of course. It was the evening kickoff. And it finished 1-1 with Brentford. I want to get your thoughts on this one because I thought Arsenal played really well. The 5:30 kickoff for me, Ben. I'm just going to set the scene here. I'm usually prepping dinner. I'm cooking, so it's like in the background. I'm doing something, it just looked like to me Arsenal had a lot of the ball in the first half. They threatened a fair bit. They got their goal. Partey scored, and then Wissa got the equaliser. But for me, is it more? For me, it feels more like because they did so well against Real Madrid that their eyes on that.
Yeah. I said to me, mate, funny enough, when the game was on, I was out with my mates. We were playing paddle actually, and obviously there's like a glass cage, and the TV. They had the game on the TV near, and I kept on like squinting over to try and see the score. And I've watched it back since, and it's just kind of the same performance we've seen from Arsenal all season. Where they love a draw, don't they? They just, I don't really know what to make of it. They would like to say, "Oh yeah, we had our eyes on Wednesday," but I don't know. I think they'll be still very disappointed with the result. I don't know if you saw. Do you see Norgard's tackle on Martinelli?
I might have missed that.
Yeah, so kind of, there's people saying it should have been a red card. I'm not too sure. It's not really like force, but it's
Arsenal fans saying it should be a red card.
Yeah, mainly shock horror. Yeah. They'll clutch at any straw they can get hold of. So, where do you stand on the Madrid thing, by the way? Because I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans torn between who they want to go through.
I want Real Madrid. I can't lie.
I'd find it so funny if Madrid came back and beat them.
Honest to God, like if they've said, "Oh, we've handed over the league to Liverpool," because we're so generous, because there wasn't a big point gap between the two teams, and then Real Madrid do the madness. I mean, if any team that could do it, let's be honest, it's them, right? And I'm not being funny. I can fully expect some very, very dodgy decisions going their way as well. I mean, we saw that. Remember the Atletico Madrid penalty shootout?
Yeah,
I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah,
literally, right? So I can see a lot of dodgy things going down.
It wouldn't surprise you
In Madrid. And do you want to know something? In an ideal world, Ben, I think PSG will be Aston Villa. PSG to beat Real Madrid, to stick it to Mbappe, and that's what I want. I just want everyone to just stick it to everyone.
Yeah, and then hopefully Inter Milan beat PSG in the final.
Great minds think alike. This
Gives
is
Salah
it.
the best chance of winning the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
I think that camp. I think it'd be so funny to see Madrid come back. Surely they don't, but like you say, if anyone can, it's Madrid. But then again, I don't want Madrid to win it again. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where people are torn, because it's gotten so boring, so predictable, that we're just like, can we have something new now? Can we have something different? Yeah, I would agree with you. Right, Ben, we spoke about the big two. Who should we talk about now?
United.
Oh, my. I mean, all right then. Newcastle United 4, Manchester United 1. Eddie Howe in hospital. I have to say, Tonali and Gameres, that midfield partnership is just phenomenal. I feel like they are the linchpins of why they're doing so well. I want to get your thoughts. United, dreadful. They thought they did something incredible by protecting Onana and resting him and taking him out the limelight. But the second Mendy didn't do overly great either.
Yeah, it's such like a Man United decision to make, to publicly come out and explain that as the reason why you're resting him as well. Like, you just wouldn't see that at any other club. And then just to chuck back the keeper in for a hard game away at Newcastle. I mean, I know he's to blame for, I think it was the fourth goal maybe, where he just smacks it at Joe Linton's head. It's just, again, there's something you would see in like a cartoon. I mean, I'm guessing you saw Onana's mistakes during the week and his comment.
Oh God, yeah.
Shutting him down.
Yeah,
like a soap opera over there at Old Trafford.
Well, we talk about Onana a lot on this show, don't we? Naturally, because there are like a catalogue of errors. But yeah, that was horrendous. I mean, the free kick, and yeah, I just feel like he's an erratic, irrational goalkeeper, and the calm head should be from the back. And I don't think he fills anyone with confidence. And I actually think as well, I think he would trigger anxiety in the likes of Konate and Virgil van Dijk as well.
Oh yeah, if you're a centre back with him behind you, I mean, I know Man United aren't blessed with great centre backs, but if that's what you've got behind you, you are like walking a tightrope every single time you have the ball at your feet, or every time there's a ball going over your head. Because it does. I mean, you see the confidence. I do think you see a massive difference even with our defenders when Alisson's in goal. They're just so much more assured. It's just only natural. But with him behind you, I couldn't think of anything worse.
And I think it's like a positional thing as well, because obviously Mignolet was very much, he hogged his goalpost essentially. He was they like to play at the back, and it tactically just changes you. But yeah, this guy, you don't know whether he's coming or going. I do think he's a real big problem. But Man United have such a big job on their hands. They're an absolute mess. Again, they're in the Europa League as well. Maybe they focused on that, thinking that's their pathway into Europe, and of course the Champions League. They are one of the favourites, I suppose. But yeah, it has been, I have to say, an absolutely disappointing Premier League season for Man United, given the amount of money they spent and everything. I would be absolutely devastated.
That's one of the problems as well when you look at the squad. Like, they've spent so much money, and you look like the dead wood in the squad is what people would say, and like the players that need to move on. And half of them are players that they've only signed 1 or 2 years ago. So they're stuck in this kind of where they've got 3 years left on the contract. I mean, you've seen it with Casemiro. I'm pretty sure Casemiro's pretty much refused to leave. He's on like 350 grand.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's, again, could only really happen at Man United.
Only at Man United. Right, Ben. Although Newcastle look really good, that they're creeping into the Champions League. The fight for top 4 looks really good. So go on then. Given the results and what's happened this weekend, who do you think has a chance? I feel like I hope Nottingham Forest don't bottle it right at the end.
Yeah, that wouldn't be. Yeah, nobody wants to say. I don't think they will. Obviously, Liverpool, Arsenal will be the top 2. I generally think Newcastle will finish 3rd. I think we've picked up more points since Christmas than Newcastle, which is really impressive, considering some of them wanted Eddie Howe sacked before Christmas.
I remember your updates.
Yeah. I think Newcastle will definitely get in. I don't think Chelsea will. I mean, today, dropping points at home to Ipswich Town. Villa, maybe. I think City, you've still got to back City to get in. And then I think it's between Forest and Villa. It depends how Forest respond, because obviously they lost yesterday to Everton. So it depends how they respond to that, because they haven't really been tested. It's kind of, I think they'd won unbeaten in 12 home games before yesterday, so maybe there are a few cracks showing.
Yeah. I'm just really gutted that Bournemouth have fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, they play tomorrow, I think, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do play tomorrow. Fulham, I believe, right?
Yeah, it should be a decent game, actually.
Actually, it will be, because obviously both of them are kind of fighting for Europe, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a good one. You spoke about Chelsea dropping points there. Cole Palmer's gone completely off a boil. Ipswich absolutely devastated me in this one, because they were 2-0 up. And then, just throwing points away again. I was watching that 2-0 and I was like, wow, Ipswich, you might actually do the double on Chelsea this season, because obviously they beat them at home. And and you keep highlighting this as well, their failure to close out games, to see out games, to have the defensive shape and discipline has been their downfall.
Yeah, so many times. And it's hard, because when you're trying to away, what do you actually pinpoint it down to? I mean, they have the quality going forward. They score an all right amount of goals, but I guess it's just at the back. They just can't see out games. I think they'll be straight back up. I think that's them down. I think we said that last week. I think before a ball was kicked, they were already 12 points off safety. And obviously Wolves have went above West Ham, I'm pretty sure now. So West Ham are actually in 17th, which is another thing. I tweeted about this earlier. That West Ham team were good today, I thought. And you look at they're 17th in the Premier League, and people are trying to make us believe this is the weakest Premier League we've ever seen. It just makes no sense. But yeah, from a Chelsea point of view, if you're not beating Ipswich at home, and you get beat off them away from home, you don't deserve to be in the European places, I don't think. And I think, I mean, since Christmas, they've been pretty rubbish, haven't they?
Yes,
I mean,
they have.
I think we're
Yeah.
under serious pressure. And to think that people were saying Cole Palmer was better than Salah at one point this season. I mean, Salah went, 3-4 games without a goal or an assist. And everyone thought the world was going to end. And I think Palmer hasn't scored in 13 games or something now, which is just mental to think about.
Yeah, that is a bit shocking. I guess one that I kind of want to discuss is just briefly, is just purely because how poor they've been, is Spurs absolutely getting hammered by Wolves, absolutely shocking stuff. I think some of these teams are very fortunate that the three that are going down are so bad, because literally I would be absolutely bricking it if I was a Spurs fan if those three teams were as bad as what they were.
Yeah, they've been rubbish this season, and I think they'll go out of Europe on Thursday. I think they had to beat Frankfurt at home to stand a chance going through. It wouldn't surprise me if Frankfurt beat them. And then I don't know where they go with Postecoglou from there, because at that point in the season, is any point in sacking them with 6 games left. But I think if they do go out of Europe, I'll be surprised if he's there next season, to be honest, because now they've got a full squad. He hasn't got that excuse to come up with anymore. They've got a full squad and they're still rubbish and conceding so many goals. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Postecoglou. I've said it for quite a while. I'm not a massive fan. I think he lives off kind of like a 10-game winning streak, and the most notable win in that 10-game winning streak last season was literally gifted to him by VAR deciding that Liverpool weren't going to win that game.
Yeah,
I'm still going on about it, I know. But yeah, I just think time's running out for him as well.
I think this season as well, like last season, he seemed like quite fun and joyous, and it was a new season. Yeah, and this season he's like complained a fair bit, and like you hear him say stuff, and I've seen him like storm out of like match of the day interviews, or
takes no responsibility at all. I mean, I remember whenever we did, people like to call Klopp a moaner, but first of all, Klopp won. Klopp had the credit in the bank to be able to moan. And how often when we did lose, he would come out and take the responsibility. It was never the players' fault, and Ange just wants none of that responsibility. It's either the injuries, the referees, or his players. And that
I think I read somewhere today where he just called it a funny old game or something. I think that was one of the quotes I saw on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. But it's not looking good for them, and he spoke up about that whole 2-season thing as well, didn't he? That I win a trophy in my second season.
That hasn't helped at all.
Yeah, I just think stay quiet. I just feel like, you know what, you're at a team, at a club that hasn't won something for quite a long time. Just quietly, just get on with your job. I think that's the most important thing. This isn't Celtic.
He's so smug about. You'd think his team were like world beaters the way he's so smug about it, but yeah, it would do my head in if I was a Tottenham fan though. If the season that they're having and he's coming out trying to defend and thinking it's okay, it would be driving me mad.
It would. Right, Ben, what should we talk about next? I don't think there's much to talk about now, but go on if you could pick something.
I don't think we spoke about Man City beating Palace yet.
Yeah, let's talk about that one. So City were 2-0 down, right? And I'm like, this doesn't even shock me anymore. But I tell you what, this shocked me, the comeback.
Yeah. Palace were playing some brilliant stuff as well. The first goal, I think it is something that you would see from Man City. Normally, the way they pass around them and literally walk the ball into the net, and then they score a free header. And I guess you could kind of say we saw the two sides of this Man City team this season, because then they just blew them away from as soon as De Bruyne's free kick went in from there.
Yeah,
I don't think Crystal Palace had another shot on target after that. Oh, I think the XG went up by 0.05 or something after Kevin De Bruyne scored. They made 2-1. So from there, it was game over pretty much for them.
It was. And speaking of XGs, if you're speaking of XGs, can I just, Southampton lost to Aston Villa. Can I give you the XG?
I knew that's where you were going.
0.31.
No, but they've got a few shots on target as well, I think.
They did. They had 2 on target. 2 on target.
Yeah. It must have just been long range shots or something.
Yeah,
but it was 0-0, wasn't it? I think it was 0-0 with about 20 minutes left, and then Villa scored 3. Pretty sure.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, as soon as Villa scored, I don't think anyone saw Southampton come by into it. I mean, Adam Lallana is assistant manager now. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
Yeah, which is mental. Makes me feel old. And
makes you feel old. Makes you feel old. Yeah, Steven Gerrard's going to be a granddad. Beat that.
Yeah. That's a good one as well.
Yeah, absolute madness. I wonder if Southampton will actually get over that 11 points tally. I think that's what they're chasing now, aren't they? Like, that is their grail.
I think they need 1 point, don't they? I think they need 1 point to match it, but 2 points to. I don't know either. I don't think they'll get 2 points. I don't know what the fixtures are like. Unless they've got like Ipswich at home, which I don't think they do. They might. Unless they've got one of them.
Let me go through their matches. I'll tell you who they've got. So they're away to West Ham next Saturday. Then they're at home to Fulham. They're away to Leicester. Then they're at home to Man City. Away to Everton. And the last game of the season, they're at home to Arsenal.
I don't think they'll get there, you know. Unless they beat Leicester away, maybe. I don't know. I don't think they'll get there. Which would be. I never thought anyone could get anywhere near Derby's record. So the fact that we're even talking about with 6 games left, I didn't think anyone could possibly get near it.
But it seems like it's an eventful season then, doesn't it? I mean, you know, City falling off a cliff, Arne Slot, you know, hopefully doing something, and a record broken with regards to the least points tally. So it's all been kicking off in the Premier League. I mean, is that it? Is that everything we need to talk about now?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see much else happening. But Ben, thank you so much for joining me on this. I've had an absolute blast. I am not going to be here next week. I'm away. So just putting that out there for everyone. I won't be here. So Ben, before I let you go, plugs, what have you got going on? You're so busy. You never stop. So go for it.
So we had a couple of interviews go out last week. You can go and check. They're all on my Twitter. Ben Pescott Journal, you can find that. And I'll have a few pieces up this week. I'm away until Saturday myself, so there won't be loads up this week. But in the future, everything that goes out for Anfield Index, EPL Index, anything else, it's all on my Twitter.
Wonderful stuff. Give Ben a follow. Go and check out his articles. He does a lot of work on AI and EPL Index, so do check them out. And I won't be harassing you next Sunday because I'll be away as well. So you might get some rest, hopefully, unless Eddie demands that you do a show and finds you a guest, because, you know, that could happen as well. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining us live. Thank you so much for listening. Take care. And hopefully the next time we catch you, we might actually be champions.
Yeah. We could do it next weekend when you're not here. We could still do it next week. Yeah, there is a chance. Well, we need Ipswich to beat Arsenal, which probably isn't going to happen. But if Ipswich beat Arsenal next week and Liverpool beat Leicester, I'm pretty sure we win the league.
I'm going to be on a plane, you know.
I feel like I just broke some really bad news there.
You have? Oh my God, you like the James. I feel like you've done a James Pearce on me here. You know when we used to get linked to players and you'd be like, that's absolutely fabricated. That's not going to happen. That's what you just done.
You might need to double check. I don't think I'm making that up. I think that's right.
But I don't think if we do it, we do it. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. Yeah. So it might be a nice little surprise to land out. It's not a long flight anyway. It's only to Rome. So yeah. I hopefully I should be fine. But guys, thank you. He threw me off course. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Take care and we'll catch you soon. Bye. Oh, that was a really, really good show. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, flew over that.
Yeah, I think it's probably because we actually won, right? It helps.